Hey, LinkedIn. I thought I'd talk about sort of problem solution and just talk about a situation that came up. I guess it was last year, but we had a customer came to us and they were actually doing trade shows, and which a lot of these companies do a lot of trade shows. But the problem was that they had a kiosk at the trade show, and and I didn't know this, but apparently the Wi-Fi costs like it can cost like 15,000, 20,000, and many of our clients they'll do, you know, they'll end up doing, um, 50 trade shows a year, 20 trade shows a year, 10, 10, 20, 30 trade shows a year, things like that. So it adds up. If you're paying $15,000 for Wi-Fi, that adds up. And so they came to us and number one, there was a problem with the Wi-Fi. They wanted to have no Wi-Fi, and they had this kiosk that it basically required the sales rep to be there and give a guided tour, like for 30 minutes, essentially walk them through this kiosk. And nobody really wants to stand there, for 30 minutes with a sales rep beside you, kind of like walking you through that. When you're going through a trade show, you're just kind of like running through the whole thing. And so that was problem two. Problem one was Wi-Fi. Problem two was that it required a tour, essentially a walkthrough with the sales rep, and it took about 30 minutes because it was built by the product team and it was very sort of product heavy. And the other problem was that they needed to be able to update it. So they designed it in Figma, which was expensive for their how they're using it, and it was like Figma and a PowerPoint, so on and so forth. And so anyway, that was the main problem. And so we came up with a platform that allowed them to do it offline. It didn't require any Wi-Fi. We actually designed the back end. We designed the user experience to be industry specific and persona specific, and have all these kind of flows in the back end, and basically built an interactive kiosk that if somebody was in the manufacturing space, they could click essentially, and then they could find their whatever role they were, whatever persona they were, and it was kind of like choose your own adventure. You could sort of just click, and a couple clicks get to the answers that you needed, so then they could move to a sales sit down. And so if it was in manufacturing, or if it was in retail, or if it was in whatever, they could just go and get their questions answered and then move over to sales and be like, hey, I'd like to learn more about this thing. And that ended up being, we actually followed up with them later and spoke to one of our contacts over there, and that ended up being their number one sales tool, and they're still using it at their trade show.